washing my clothes, which is a beautiful thing. Hold on, make sure y'all can hear me a little bit better. I'm cool, no. I'm cool. You know, I want to talk about and degree real quick, just real quick, about how I see these program things and all that stuff based on one of my friends and what he's going through right now in that whole home shelter program shit, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to elaborate on that shit and how most people that are in that situation can't elaborate on it enough and have the words to describe exactly what it is. But right now, currently, what you're having is you're having a situation with states on states. You know, just recently, Portland, Oregon decided that they were going to legalize small possessions of controlled substances like heroin and cocaine. Yeah, which I think is a complete mistake, but you know, that's what they want to do. So, you know, whatever. It tends back to these programs and all these things they have set up or whatever. I truly believe that you have to either be a drug addict or something like that, or either have to be a woman with some kids to actually get benefits of any of these programs. I also think that the worse you are in that world, the easier it is for you. Well, on the other hand, what I've seen happen to my homeboy is he's been sitting somewhere for, I believe now, 4 months now, and he can't obtain anything because everything for him is out of the way. He has children, so he's worried about his kids. He has 4 kids, so he wants his kids to be with him, which is understandable. And I hope that is available for him initially. I want him to know that when he sees this. But the truth remains still, and it's still this right now, which is the point of the state or states themselves don't have accountability for things they've done prior, for one, as far as, I want to say executive order, but that would be wrong terminology to use. I want to say as far as the amendments are concerned, you know. They have had many amendments and many old bills. Connecticut has some of the weirdest laws. That is on the nutmeg state, as we're called. The nutmeg state of Connecticut has some of the most oldest laws on the books. The state has been here since 1636. 1636, so has a very long time and a very long history within the English Gnostic point of view of the state of Connecticut, all right? Now, the most interesting part is with these state allocated programs or whatever, there comes something that's coming along with it, which is this incoming housing crisis that's getting ready to hit us real hard. I say it hit us probably the top of 2021, you know? I've watched the few stocks that I invested in, I watched them deplete by at least 30 cents. You know what I mean? At minimum, 30 cents, which is crazy to me. But hey, that's the economy is just getting ready to take a downward. And if one of the things that would have stopped it was the allocation of some type of stimulus. But since that allocation of the second stimulus was halted for 5 months, Nancy Pelosi made sure that didn't happen. So now we're stuck in this I don't know, quagmire, if you want to say, where it's like, what do you do next, man? Do you sit back and you wait and hope that the stimulus will reach you maybe sometime in May, June, July, I don't know? Or do you put together group economics and try to make something happen, And that's the question that remains right there. But it was just ironic that my man is being asked to leave. And I know that would be the same doom of many others if they're going through the same, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, one, I just watched this I guess you want to say an article, a news clip rather, quickie, about under 2 minutes. And it was this woman and she reverberated something that I've heard many people say now. Yeah, okay, and why? Our minimum wage is $15 an hour. But the thing is, everything's closing up at around about 6, 7 o'clock anyway, except for like a couple bars here and there, a couple restaurants. But then they close down around about 8 o'clock too, because it's like, who the fuck wants to be outside in New York eating outside at 9 o'clock? Nobody. Not too many people. Maybe a few on Fifth Ave, maybe a couple people like that, but for the most part, nobody wants to eat outside in New York that late at night. You know what I mean? It's just, they just don't want to. So this woman finally got to the point and said, I'm getting 15 hours a week at $15 an hour. Now, because there wasn't a second stimulus, there wasn't a boost to that it wasn't a boost to her unemployment. If she filed for unemployment, which I can't answer for her unemployment status, because then I would need the information on a lot of things. One of the things would be her immigration status and whether she was eligible for, under U.S. law, if she was eligible for that. A lot of employees in New York, they will hire you under the table, and that market is not exist anymore like it used to, because the way New York is shut down. Make no mistake about it, in all the videos I've done and I've shown you guys, New York is shut down for the most part. You know, one of the major McDonald's up was three tiers in Midtown Manhattan closed down because of this pandemic. There's a couple other things up and down Fifth Avenue, stuff is still boarded up. Some shops are going forever. They're not coming back as a company themselves. So, I mean, you have a lot of different elements that pertain to make, you know, what's going on go on right now. And unfortunately, what's going on right now is something that could have been avoided to a such, but wasn't. You got a suck-ass man, Mayor de Blasio. Nobody ever wants to see him again. And I'm hoping Mr. Evans from Brooklyn, I'm hoping he runs, which a lot of people think he will. He's an advocate of Jermaine Williams, a public advocate in New York City. You know, Jermaine's a Brooklyn boy. I think he could do it. But you got to get somebody besides de Blasio. The whole city, you guys don't know, but the whole city pretty much, they had city workers taking furloughs. So the city workers took furloughs or whatever, and the reason they did that was to save them a portion of money, all right? Now, to save the city, rather. Now, the city, they had many opportunities to save money, but instead they wanted to bring in developers from Boston, Maryland, and a bunch of other places to come in and basically gentrify certain portions of New York. So you got Brooklyn and a couple other places or whatever. Then you add to the fact that, which is widely known and widely spoken through Congress and everybody else, well-known fact, Bloomberg, the former mayor, that's why it was a joke when he ran for president, if you don't remember this. Bloomberg, he lifted something that was very important to New York City and allowed the developers to come in. And those were former artist lofts and rent stabilization laws. And so basically you could get a place in Manhattan, probably for about, I don't know, say the market value for it was really on market now about $2,000. $2,500, somewhere around there. You was renting an apartment for, say, $575 for the past 20 years. You see what I mean? So what happened was, once those developers were able to come in and whatever, because now the property values around the area has changed. Y'all know this is right up my gang. You know what I mean? I love this shit. So the property value was able to be risen in some of these areas, but what they didn't count on was this. See, as a result of the pandemic, what started happening and what is happening now is those same people that were gentrifying Brooklyn, gentrifying Queens, gentrifying the Bronx, they now are at a point of their own gentrification themselves because these memorandums for the rent and everything like that, they're getting ready to lift pretty soon. Now what's going to happen is all these landlords that haven't been able to collect rent in 6 or 7 months, they're going to start heading to the courts. And when they start heading to the courts, what's going to happen is, you know, it'll take a long process for this thing to go through. So, you know, if I'm imagining this at a guesstimate, you're going to have thousands of people coming in trying to file claims. So, with that being said, right, you're probably seeing individual cases take anywhere from a year to a year and a half to get to. You know what I mean? Which allows a lot of time for a landlord to lose money. Now, that whole time period that landlord is losing money, he's also responsible for the upkeep of the property legally. So let's say, for example, if everybody doesn't get to start filing to, well, it's December is where they lift. So say everybody doesn't start filing really hard until, I don't know, let's say January. All right, somebody has a heart, it's Christmas, you know, shit like that. So they don't file to January. Now, you probably got about a minimum of at least 4 months to 3 months, somewhere around there, before the shit even comes to court and comes to adjudication. But there's always a possibility that your shit could take just a week. Now, what do you do then? What do you do then? This is why a lot of economists said work out something with the landlord so it could be amicable. You know what I mean? And if you haven't been amicable with your landlord, then you might have some issues. You know what I mean? Some issues. And I don't want you to have some issues. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to tell you not to have some issues. So if you haven't talked to your landlord, depending on what city you live in right now currently in the United States, my best suggestion to you is to do so. Do so soon. Those memorandums are going to lift, and once they lift, a lot of people are going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble for many different reasons, and mainly because you have not paid your rent in 7 to 8 months, which is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. And I don't suggest anybody do anything, you know what I mean? These places are packed. These homeless shelter places and all that stuff like that. And they got these guys out here living on top of each other, you know? And the funny thing is they don't have anywhere to put most of these guys for the home, you know what I mean? Which is a terrible thing too. And when they do put them somewhere, they put them in the most worst place they could possibly find, which is this, I don't know, beyond me. But I wish my friend good luck. I hope the best for him or whatever. That's why I campaign do what I do. Guys, make sure you hit the links or whatever. After only 4 months, you know, that's just crazy. They get the fuck out, basically, you know. And it's not coming from, I don't know, it's just not coming from a good place, you know. It's just wild crazy. It's the holidays is getting ready to happen and everything else. So, you know, this is why you have to prepare yourself. You know, that's what I'm up against. I'll talk to you guys later.